Welcome to Tell Me More Stories Told Us podcast. Today, we're cracking open a story you might not expect. It's all about the can opener. You know, that thing in your kitchen drawer? It's got a surprisingly adventurous past.
It really does. I mean, before you had that easy zipper twist getting into a can, well, it was a whole different ballgame. We're talking like hammers and chisels sometimes. Seriously, imagine making dinner with those tools.
Exactly. And those first cans, they weren't flimsy things. They were solid, heavy. I read somewhere they could weigh more than the actual food inside.
That's right. And the instructions. Oh boy, cut round the top near the outer edge with the chisel and hammer?
Not exactly click and open, was it? It just highlights this big gap, you know. Canned food existed for ages before anyone came up with a decent way to open the cans themselves.
Yeah, it's fascinating. People just sort of made do with existing tools for a long time. Shows resourcefulness, sure, but maybe also that the specific need wasn't immediately obvious. Or maybe just hard to solve.
Okay, so let's back up a bit. Canning itself, that's been around a while, right?
Yeah.
Not a new idea even then.
Oh, yeah. Goes way back. At least 1772 in the Netherlands, the Dutch Navy was using it. And by the early 1800s, you see it popping up in Britain, France, the US. So the food's preserved, but getting at it, still pretty, well, primitive.
Right. So after all that hammering and chiseling, someone must have thought, hang on, there has to be a better way. When did we actually start seeing tools designed for opening cans?
Well, the first patents started appearing around the mid-1850s, so quite a delay, really. In 1855, you had Robert Yates in England. He designed this sort of lever thing with a claw end.
A claw. Sounds awkward. Not exactly smooth sailing.
No, probably not. Then, just a few years later, 1858, Ezra Warner over in the U.S. patented another lever-type opener, but this one had a sharp sickle blade, like a little curved knife.
A sickle, wow. In the kitchen.
Yeah, and it even had a guard piece to stop you stabbing too deep into the can, which, tells you something.
Tells you it was probably pretty dangerous. I think I read that one actually got used, though, despite the danger factor.
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
The U.S. Army picked it up during the Civil War. I guess in wartime, opening your rations quickly maybe outweighed the risk of slicing your hand open. But for home use, nah. That exposed blade was just too hazardous. So for decades, getting your canned peaches involved, like a genuine risk.
Really puts our modern gadgets in perspective, doesn't it? Okay, so hammers, claws, mini sickles. What was next? Something less alarming.
Well, there is an interesting detour. The twist key opener, patented in 1866 by J. Osterhout. Now, these weren't universal openers. Each can or type of can came with its own little key soldered right onto it.
Oh, right, like on old sardine tins. I remember those. You had to sort of bend the key off first.
Exactly. You'd snap it off, then slide it onto a little metal tab and roll back a pre-scored strip around the lid. But yeah, different keys for different cans, flat ones for fish, cylindrical ones for coffee or beans.
So you'd need a whole collection of keys depending on what you bought. Sounds like a bit of a nightmare.
Definitely not the most practical system long term. Imagine the clutter.
Okay, so crude tools, dangerous blades, fiddly keys. When did we finally get to something like the rotating wheel we think of now?
That big step came in 1870. William Lyman patented the first opener with a rotating wheel cutter. His design involved piercing the center of the can lid first with a sharp point.
The center. Still sounds a bit involved.
It was. You had to punch that hole, then adjust a lever to get the right radius, and then crank the cutting wheel around the edge. So while it introduced that key idea, the rotating cutter, it was still pretty cumbersome. People didn't immediately rush out and buy one,
Right. It laid the groundwork, but wasn't quite it yet. So how did we get from that to the smoother ones?
The real breakthrough, the thing that made it work like we expect today, came in 1925, the Star Can Opener Company. They took Lyman's idea, but added a crucial second wheel. A serrated wheel.
Ah, the feed wheel.
Oh, exactly. That's the clever bit. Those little teeth could grip the rim of the can, even if it was a bit uneven. That grip gave the cutting wheel the traction it needed to move smoothly around the lid. No more needing to pierce the center. No more wobbling.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
That second wheel is why so many manual openers still basically look the same today, isn't it?
Pretty much. Such a simple addition, but totally effective. It really nailed the mechanics. Now, here's something interesting how world events sort of push things along.
You mean like wartime?
Yeah, World War II specifically. It really spurred the development of compact, tough openers for soldiers. Think of the American P-38 or the P-51, those little things.
Oh, the P-38, the John Wayne. Tiny little folding things, right? Almost like a key.
That's the one. A simple folding design. Hinged blade you pull to cut, and a little corrugated handle, so small soldiers could keep them on their dog tag chains, always there when you needed to open your sea rations.
Amazing. Such a small, simple tool being that vital. Really shows the importance of, well, just reliable basic tech.
It does. And actually a very similar folding design, even simpler, meant for campers and Boy Scouts, showed up in popular mechanics way back in 1924.
Really? Before the P-38.
Just before, yeah, barely different, just the lanyard hole placement. So the idea of a tiny folding opener was already out there. The P-38 just became the famous military version. It stuck around for ages, only really phased out in the 80s when the U.S. military switched to soft-pack MREs.
From Boy Scouts to battlefields. Quite a life for a little piece of metal. Okay, so after the war, people are back home. Kitchens are maybe getting a bit more modern.
Yeah.
What's the next leap?
Electricity. Electric can openers actually made a first appearance way back in 1931. There was one model advertised that could supposedly open over 20 cans a minute.
20 cans a minute in 1931. Sounds a bit like science fiction for the time. Did it catch on?
Not really, no, not initially. Maybe too bulky, too expensive, unreliable, who knows. But they made a successful comeback in 1956. Two American companies reintroduced them. Klassen Enterprises had a wall-mounted one.
Wall-mounted.
But the big hit was Walter Hess Baudel's freestanding model. His wasn't just a can opener. It also had a knife sharpener built in. A proper kitchen gadget.
Ah, the 2-in-1.
Yeah.
Clever. And they looked the part, too, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. Marketed under the Utico brand.
Uh-huh.
They came in all those classic 50s colors, flamingo pink, avocado green. They launched just before Christmas, apparently, and were an instant success. People were ready for that convenience, maybe that bit of modern style.
Flamingo pink. Love it. You can just picture those kitchens. Okay, so we've gone from hammers and chisels to electric pink knife sharpening machines. But the evolution didn't quite stop there, did it? There's another type that's pretty common now.
Right, the side cutting openers. Those emerged in the 1980s. They work totally differently. Instead of cutting down into the lid, they cut through the side seam, right where the lid joins the can body.
And the big advantage there is less sharp edges.
Exactly. Safety, mainly. It leaves a much smoother edge on both the can and the lid you remove. Plus, often you can pop the lid back on as a temporary cover. Pretty handy. The mechanism's a bit different. Finer teeth usually, gripping the rim from the side.
Yeah, that smooth edge is definitely a plus. It's amazing how much refinement has gone into this seemingly basic task. You know, if you're finding this journey through can opener history as surprisingly fascinating as we are, and you want more stories behind everyday things, definitely hit that subscribe button. Don't miss out on our future deep dives here on the Tell Me More universe. We've got loads more stories lined up.
So thinking back on this whole evolution, it wasn't exactly a straight line, was it? Some designs, like Lyman's first wheel, needed major tweaks or just faded. But others, especially that star design with the feed wheel, have really lasted. It's still the basis for so many openers.
Yeah, we shouldn't forget the humble church key, you know, the pointy thing for bottles.
Ah, yeah. Originally for prying crown caps off glass bottles back in the early 1900s. But then, when flat-top beer cans came along in the 1930s, before pull tabs, the church key was perfect for punching those two triangular holes.
So a bottle opener kind of moonlighted as a can opener.
It did. Shows how tools get adapted, doesn't it? Some later manual openers, those butterfly types, even combined a church key point with a rotating wheel mechanism. Best of both worlds, I suppose. Of course, then pop tabs arrived for drinks in the mid-60s, and the church key's can opening days were mostly over.
It's just wild how much history is packed into such a simple object. It's easy to just, take it for granted. But this little invention, it genuinely changed things. Food preservation, access to food.
Absolutely. Think about the logistics. Feeding armies, stocking pantries, shipping food long distances. Reliable canning, made accessible by a reliable opener, underpins so much of that. It really is a testament to how these seemingly small bits of ingenuity can have massive ripple effects.
So next time you grab your can opener, maybe give it a little nod, appreciate the journey it represents. From hammers and chisels to smooth-edge electric marvels, it's a fantastic story of problem solving. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other everyday things have these incredible hidden histories? Definitely something to think about. Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us on Tell Me More Stories Told as Podcast. Until next time, keep exploring.